If you watch my videos for quite a long time, you know that I get quite nervous on board the plane. And I can tell you that with the sanctions imposed on the Russian aviation industry, my fear of flights grew stronger. And if I can choose not to use planes for my personal purposes, I can't say no to my employer when he asks me to go to a business trip. Hello my dear friends, I'm Ksenia and you're watching St.Petersburg-me channel. So today I'm in Moscow tonight and tomorrow I'm flying to Turkey, but I'm not having a vacation. I'm having a business trip with my colleagues for 2 days. So for 2 days I will be in Turkey, and thus I wanted to show you how the air transport in Russia works now during sanctions. So first I had to take a plane from St. Petersburg to Moscow, and as you can see, Pulkovo airport looks pretty busy, and it's obvious vacation season started. The duty-free store at the airport looks pretty stuffed with goods, and by the way, I saw a few people buying those goods. So once this was my favorite fragrance, but now it's ridiculously expensive.
Температура воздуха плюс 21 градус. Просим вас придерживать вертикальное положение, отвлеченное иллюминатором, опустить подоконники ваших кресел. Ladies and gentlemen, our flight began to descend. We are approaching the airport of Moscow. The outside temperature is 21 degrees centigrade. Please fasten your seatbelts, pull the departure flags, pull down damage to the seats, make sure that your backpack is upright and your tray table is closed.
Yes, I'm afraid of flights, but I must admit that views above the clouds are absolutely stunning. And here is an airport in Moscow, quite busy. Just look at it. So people are flying. No matter if planes have spare parts or not, just look at this. Quite busy. The next day, early in the morning, I had a flight to Turkey, also on a Russian plane.
Доброе утро, дамы и господа, говорит командир компании «Родекс». Приветствую вас на борту самолета «Сухой Суперджет», выполняющий рейс номер 075, маршрут Москва-2 Домодедово, Стамбул. Время пути у нас займет 4 часа 30 минут. Желаю вам приятного полета, благодарю за внимание.
Напоминаем вам, что все бортовое имущество, аварийно-спасательное оборудование и инструкции по безопасности являются собственностью авиакомпании, за порчу и кражу которых предусмотрена административная ответственность. Просим вас не выносить их из самолета. Ladies and gentlemen, our plane is descending now. To prepare for landing, please make sure your portable electronic devices are in the flight mode or turned off. Return your backrest to the upright position, open the window shade, stow and lock your tray table, fasten and tighten your seatbelt.
So they are still making announcements on airplanes in English, though 2 months ago or 3 months ago, one of the Russian officials said, and I quote, "English is a dead language and you'd better start learning Chinese." And you know, it wasn't like a small person in Russian politics. It was maybe third or fourth person in Russian politics, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Volodin. I don't want to lie to you about the name, but I think it was Volodin. So why don't you make announcements on planes in Chinese? Maybe Chinese will do for announcements. Why not? if English is a dead language for you. Really. I'm in Vnukovo airport, and I can tell you that this airport is very busy. Too many people, too many check-ins, and pretty many of them are like with lines of people. So people are not afraid of flying on the Russian airplanes. So everything seems normal, and I don't know, maybe it is normal, but I don't know. And also I would like to share one more detail with you that I have never noticed before. So there were several Russian soldier groups in all Russian airports that I visited during this business trip. So it was Pulkovo, it was Domodedovo, it was Vnukovo, and I met about 4 to 5 different soldier groups, and I even flew with one soldier group. It was not a very big group, it was like maybe 4 or 5 people, but they are traveling, and you know, they have a reason to travel. And personally I would prefer that they would never have this reason to travel, because before 2022 I never saw any Russian soldier at an airport, never. So my dear friends, this was my first experience of flying on Russian airplanes since sanctions were imposed on the Russian aviation industry. And you know, for me it was quite a nervous experience. So I had 4 Russian planes, and you know, I'm alive. I'm now in St. Petersburg, and I'm filming this video after almost 3 weeks of the actual trip. But you know, everything is okay. People in the airports, people are not on the airplanes, they are not afraid of flying, you know. Airports are quite crowded, people behave normal. I assume that not many people understand how such a huge machine as an aircraft works, and that it needs maintenance, and sometimes it needs spare parts. And it would be very, very nice if those spare parts were new, you know. So yeah, not many people are aware of that, I'm pretty much sure. But you know, I'm working in quite a sphere where we need spare parts daily, you know. So I quite understand how an airplane works. But you know, the reality is that nobody around me except for me are afraid of flying. But so I don't know, really don't know what to think about the Russian aviation industry now. Of course I understand that Russian aviation industry still gets spare parts, so there are ways of getting spare parts for aircrafts even now, but it's not an easy way. Those ways are not easy. It's not very quick, it's not very cheap, but still I assume that spare parts are getting into Russian aircrafts, but it's not like it was before, of course. So maybe I should not be so nervous about this topic, but I am still I'm still quite uneasy about this. So yeah, so this was my experience, and thank you for watching, thank you for being with me, thank you for all your likes, comments, and maybe you will be able to share this video. So my dear friends, see you in the next video. Bye.